Hello, students. In this video, I will be showing you how to find evidence for your meal paragraph. If you've already begun to do this, this is fine. This is just a refresher, a way for you to remind yourself how to do it. But certainly if you have not found any evidence for your project yet, this would be a good place to start. A lot of the information, a lot of the resources you need to find your evidence can be found in the Google Classroom. So if you're here in the Google Classroom, go to classwork, and then everything will be under the PBAT project section. Let me show you how to find evidence. You should be using the evidence organizer, which looks like this. All right. Now, before you even begin looking for your evidence for your project, you should decide what your project is, and also decide like what are the main topics that you're focusing on for your project. If you haven't done that, then you should not try to find evidence yet. You still need to complete those steps first. Now, what that looks like is this. So if you have here your outline sheet for your PBAT, it looks like this, and you should have completed things like finding out the question and some reasons that help to answer that question. For this example, we'll be focusing on this question: what are the major causes of climate change that connect to your own lifestyle? Here are some examples of reasons that connect to this question: deforestation, use of fossil fuels, and intensive agriculture. To show you how to find evidence for these topics, we're going to focus on this first reason, which is deforestation. All right. So hopefully if this will make it clear, and if you are doing the same topic using the same reason, you can use these steps, but if not, you can just know that you have to have this completed before you find evidence. So let's go back to the evidence organizer. As you can see, it's organized in a way where you're looking for two different pieces of evidence: evidence 1 and evidence 2. And the reason it's set up like this is because the idea is that you are looking for two pieces of evidence for each meal paragraph you are doing. Everyone needs to complete at least 2 meal paragraphs. Some of you might want to complete 3 meal paragraphs. However many paragraphs you want to complete determines how many evidences you will need to find. If you're doing 2 meal paragraphs, you have to find 3 or 4 pieces of evidence. And if you're doing 3 meal paragraphs, you'll need to find 6 different pieces of evidence. As I've discussed before, it is good for you to organize your paragraph in this way, where you're looking for evidence that connects to that same topic for that paragraph. But the first evidence should focus on a description or details that connect to that topic. And then the second evidence should connect to statistics or numbers connected to that topic. So for this example that we're doing, we want to make sure that both evidence pieces are about how deforestation causes climate change. Because remember, that is the topic that we're looking at. We are looking at deforestation and how it connects to climate change in this example. So both of those need to connect in that way. And each of these two evidences will need to connect in a different way as well. So if you're thinking about description or details connected to this example regarding deforestation, basically you're looking for evidence that explains how deforestation causes climate change, like an actual description or summary of how deforestation actually causes climate change, because that's an important thing you need to establish for your paragraph. And then in the second evidence, you would need to find statistics or numbers, which basically could be like explaining what is the impact of deforestation, like how much is deforestation actually connected to climate change. So this could be a percentage of how much deforestation is a part of climate change. You can explain how many, for example, trees are cut down in a single year, how many trees are cut down by country. All of these examples involve statistics or numbers, and that's what you have to include as part of your second evidence. And that's just as an example. Now, what we're focusing on, just so I can show you how to find the evidence, is the description or details part. And basically, you're looking for how does deforestation cause climate change? All right. So what you want to do is you want to do internet searches using most likely Google in order to find information that explains how deforestation causes climate change, but you want to make sure they come from a reliable source. All right, and so basically first you need to know what is a reliable source. Now, if you look at the Google Classroom, you'll see lots of different resources and your assignments here as well. And you also see here the very important thing that says evidence list of reliable sources. So you need to make sure that that's open and ready to go. But basically what this list is a list of reliable websites that you can use that have already demonstrated they are reliable, and you can freely use information from any of these web pages, websites, because they have a reputation for being reliable. In this first section, it has a list of lots of different news agencies that are reliable sources. And if you scroll down, you'll see lots of history or science websites that are also reliable sources. So since a lot of your projects have to do with science, they're connected to science, it might make sense to start with the science websites. And these are like basically the websites that are near the bottom of the list. So Life Science, National Geographic, Scientific American, Smithsonian Magazine, NPR Science, The Guardian Science, BBC News Science, those are all examples of science websites that are reliable. So first is we would go to Google and prepare the search. Now, as your evidence organizer states, you want to find information that shows how does deforestation cause climate change. So the easiest thing to do would be to actually put that question into Google. All right. Something else to mention is a lot of you will be doing these searches in different languages because you're more comfortable with Spanish or French, for example. So maybe when you are doing the searches, you'll be doing this. You might be tempted to do these searches in your home languages. So for Spanish speakers, you might be doing the search using this. And for French speakers, you might want to do the search this way. Now, I do not recommend you actually do the searches using like for example, using the Spanish like that, or using French. That's something I don't recommend because it actually affects the kinds of search results you get. So my recommendation is if you're looking for it in Spanish, if you want the information in Spanish and French, you can translate the search results later, but please do the Google search in English because that'll give you the most results. Now, back to this. So we have the question here, how does deforestation cause climate change? But remember, you want to make sure that it comes from a reliable source. So we have here our list of sources that are reliable. We can begin with life science. So essentially, all you have to do is type in at the beginning life science. That will help to make sure the searches are controlled so that it comes from life science first. There is a way that you can make sure that it only goes through life science, and it is this way. At the very beginning, you can type in site, colon, and then make sure you put the .com there as well, the www.lifescience.com, and then it's just a better way to further control the search. You can see the differences right now. So in one, I just put life science. In the other, I've put site, colon, www.lifescience.com, and you'll see there's a difference in the type of search that occurs. If you only put the name of the site at the beginning, it gives you life science first, but then it also gives you other results like National Geographic, bushsystems.com. This looks like it's from an university site, but if you do it the other way, it only gives you from life science, life science, life science, life science. So it will not give you any other results besides life science. So this may be a better way to do it. It just takes a little bit more time to type in the correct searches. But if you want to do it this way, I recommend it because it's a way for you to better control how you search for things. Now, in the next step, when you're looking for the results, I recommend you take the time to really read the titles of these sites before you click on the first one. Make sure it's something that you would like to use. This one says deforestation, facts, causes, and effects. I think this by itself looks like a good site, so I'm gonna open the link in a new tab just to have it ready. The next one says the Amazon rainforest is officially creating more greenhouse. Okay, so this is more specific to the rainforest. This one looks like it's more about the topic of deforestation, and it may just give more general information, which is also useful. So, you can open different pages so that, to try to find and to look for the one that really helps you to answer the question. And remember, the question is, how does deforestation cause climate change? Now, all of these results are in English because you did the question in English. But remember that if you do not if your English isn't great or it's just challenging for you to read the results in English, you can always just translate the page. For example, here I right-clicked. I'm going to say translate to Español, and it translates everything into Spanish. But I already have the full results because I already did the search in English. So that's like the most important thing to make sure you get the best results. And I'm just going to go back to English, but basically you can do translations like that. And then also when you're reading through the articles, you can translate the page like the same way so that you actually understand what the page is about. So here, this is an example page. Now, life science is reliable, and it looks like this page is also pretty recent for the last couple of years. And it just talks about facts, causes, and effects. And I think that's Basically what we want to find information about. If we go back to your evidence organizer, it says, how does deforestation cause climate change? So that's what the information that we're still looking for. So this is the part that takes the most time. You actually have to read the article, but this is something that's good practice, and it's something that you will need to do more often in school, is that you're reading through articles and actually taking the time to make sure that you understand the information. It's also a good way to help build your reading skills in both your home language and in English. So it's something that you need to do just to improve as a student. All right. So here, this looks like some information that could be used as part of the to answer the question about how deforestation helps to cause climate change. And here is some more. So it really depends on what specific information you want to use, if you want to summarize it. But I think this article already has some good information. So just to try to make this example simpler, I'm going to pull this one. It says trees also absorb carbon dioxide, mitigating greenhouse gas emissions produced by human activity. As climate change continues, trees play an important role in carbon sequestration or the capture and storage of excess carbon dioxide. All right, so I think this is like just a nice little sentence that helps to explain a little bit how deforestation helps to cause climate change. So I'll copy that and put it right here. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Now, since I copied this directly, I'm going to put quotes. I did not summarize this, so I just copied it. So I have to put quotes, right? That's something important to remember. And if I wanted to include some other line, you can also include that as well. I think this is also an important information, so I'll include it there. All right. So we have here information that connects to the question. All right. And now we have to make sure that we put the source. Now you need three things for the source. You need three things for the source. You need the name of the author, you need the title of the web page, and you also need the name of the organization or website that publishes that article. So we can start by putting the name of the article. And we might, and for this, you will need to just scroll all the way up. Right? It says deforestation, facts, causes, and effects. Right, so that's the title of the article. Now we need the author. Right there, it says by Sarah Dorian. And the name of the organization is Life Science. Right. And once you have all of that information, then you're good to go. That is the exact information you need for the evidence. You have the quote or summary, you have the source, and the source includes the name of the article, the title, the name of the author, and the organization that published the article. Sometimes you will not be able to find an author depending on the topic, but you should definitely always have the name of the article and the website that's publishing it. But basically, that's what you have to do. And in this process, you have found the information that helps to answer the question. So here is the information you're looking for, and this is the question that you're trying to find the answer to. And of course, you also have the source where you've got the information. So once you have these two big things, then you have what you need for the evidence that you will use in your essay.